Our guest is going to come at 12:30, so let's talk a little Shedeur Sanders, guys, after a quick word from FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action. FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. We spent the first hour of the show talking basketball and baseball. Let's spend a few minutes here on football. We found some prop bets on the interweb this weekend regarding the Browns rookie quarterback. I'm going to give you guys the prop bet. You tell me if you take the bet. If not, what would the odds have to be for you to take the bet? Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
We got three of them. Prop bet number one. Shedeur Sanders should have more than 300 passing yards in a single game this season. The odds, -140.
Yeah, no,
Would
I'm
you
not
take the juice on that or no?
No. No, that's a high bar. Very few do go over 300 in a game anymore.
I mean, that means it's more likely than not to happen. First of all, he has to play. We don't know for sure he's going to play this year.
Right. I mean, I feel pretty good that he's going to play. You would take a bet that he's going to see action. Right?
I would.
But the 300, that's a high bar, Bull.
How many?
I'll take it. You know why I'll take it? It's at the end of the season.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're going to play, who's going to be injured. You could be down in a football game, and we know Kevin Stefanski's propensity. He will throw the ball if he's down. Even when we had Nick Chubb, he was keeping him at 14, 16 carries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that you can see a game where the Browns are down and they need some scores. They throw the ball, and you look up, he has 40 attempts. He may have a couple of turnovers in that, but I think it's possible he get 300 yards.
I wanted to look at.
Oh, I think it's possible.
I mean,
I just think it's highly unlikely.
If he plays 6 games, and he's in one of those 6 games, they're down and they got to throw the football at halftime.
Watch this. Mike, how many 300-yard passing games have the Browns had in the last 3 seasons from someone not named Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston?
I mean, that's a loaded question.
I don't think
I think it's 0.
I don't think we've done it.
That's
Deshaun never did it, I don't think.
I don't think he did either.
I think the
Hell,
Titans
we were
game-
doing backflips one day when he went over 200.
let me look at that. Let me think. I know DTR didn't. PJ Walker didn't.
No, I
Jacoby
think Baker
Brissett?
had it. Baker probably had a few.
Jacoby Brissett, did he have that 11 games he played? Did he have any over 300?
No, I don't think so.
I'll look it up.
I think he was in the twos. We was giving his 225, 230.
That's what I say. Once upon a time in the Marino and even in a more recent era, 300-yard passing games were all over the place.
Like candy.
But hell, how many did Patrick Mahomes have last year? And Patrick Mahomes used to sneeze 300-yard passing games.
Hey, they used to give them 300 out like the doctor used to,
like Oprah giving out cards.
Or like your doctor
you get a
giving
300. You get a 300.
Your doctor giving you Vicodins. They don't give. You can't get none of that no more.
No.
How many 300-yard passing games do you think Jaden Daniels, who had a magnificent rookie season, had?
Mahomes had 3 last year.
What's that?
3.
Mahomes had 3.
I want to say 2.
Jaden Daniels had 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, the year
they
before-
don't happen as much.
The year before, C.J. Stroud had 6 as a rookie.
Yeah, he destroyed us.
Yeah.
Now, they had no running game.
Yeah,
Houston, and
but
Washington had
but that's still
Jaden's
impressive.
thing was he was highly efficient.
And
He
he was-
22 of 28.
He had a lot of games between 250 and 280. But
Yeah,
only
which
one.
I said one day last year, I go 250 is the new 300.
I think you're going too far with that.
Well, you can look it up.
I say
mean,
two.
You could ask AI. Steve will do this. and he'll email
275.
us.
Yeah.
275 is almost. If you throw for 275 and you run into, because Jaden Daniels could have about 60 yards on the ground too.
Yeah, you could.
And I'll be like,
he does have 60 yards.
And when he has no 60, it make it feel like you just. I mean, he destroyed us last year.
Yes,
I mean, when he made me rethink my whole situation. I think anybody that was wishing for the Browns to be like, yo, we got something here. Let's see what Deshaun Watson.
Fresh out of the university too.
Man,
just boom, 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 boom.
He was
we
going.
We thought that they were going to win that game. We're like, yeah, young
Only
rookie
one quarterback in the NFL averaged more than 275 per game last season.
Stunning. And
That's
I'll guarantee you there was a time when there were more than one quarterback that averaged over 300 a game.
Give me a year. We'll do one of these real quick. Give me a.
Let's go to.
Let me look at
Go
this
to the
schedule.
Marino Esiason.
ESPN goes back to 2004 to sort this.
Okay,
so
well that's
for the sake of this.
Okay, go back 2015.
Jay, those days, they weren't throwing for that many yards overall as a
I don't
league.
know.
I mean,
there were a few guys. I'm looking at it right now.
In 15,
Yeah,
you had 2 guys over 300.
as an average.
Phillip Rivers was 299.5.
Yep.
Ooh.
Brady was 298.1.
Okay, so really you had 4 guys pretty much
Carson
averaging.
Palmer was 291.9.
No, let's not throw him in there, but we'll throw Brady and Rivers in
What
there
year
'cause
you
there was
talking
some-
about?
This is 15.
2015.
So 2015 as a league, there was an average of 243.8 passing yards per game, which was the highest in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, but what you're doing though, and
yeah,
what you're doing now is you're bringing everybody in. What I'm saying, the point I'm making is there used to be a time when there were 4 or 5 guys that were throwing for 300 a game every week. We just pointed that out, 2015. Last year, no one averaged 300 yards a game.
No one averaged 290.
No one averaged 290.
You said
so.
In 2015,
2015,
5 guys averaged.
and that was
300
just a
yards game.
random year I threw up because I remember, I don't know what the height of the
That was
passing era
it.
was.
That was it.
It feels like it was,
Yeah.
Bull, but it could have gone into 16 and 17.
And how many guys threw for an average of 300 yards that year?
Roethlisberger averaged 329.
Dang.
Breeze was 320. I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
Breeze was 325. Phillip Rivers was 300 on the dot, and Brady was 299.
Yeah, they was
Yeah,
cooking.
so that's
4 guys.
They was
yeah.
cooking. I
And
was,
so, I don't know if 250 is to do 300, maybe 275 is, whatever. How many guys averaged over 250 yards a game last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
A lot.
I would think a lot.
Yeah.
Last year in the regular season, over 250.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so it might be 275 is the new 300. How many guys averaged over 275 last year?
Just Joe Burrow.
See,
One.
I told you.
Yes.
275.
Okay, so maybe it's
And Jared Goff.
70?
260.
266.
270, you add Jared Goff. He was at
So that's
272.
2.
If you go to 260, you could add Baker and Tua into the mix.
Okay, so at 4. So maybe it's the 260 is the new 300.
266.1 is the new 300.
266 and 3 inches.
Right.
All right, so-
I will say this, but
So
back.
would you take it, G? Would you take it at minus 140?
I would, but
He's taking it.
I would.
He's got him for 4,500.
No. No. We don't have. Listen, we talk about games here. Here's the thing. I said this on. I was doing a barbershop the other day. I said it'd be interesting to see which, if you're watching Shedeur Sanders, in which order in the lineup does he go? And I mean by this, if you say, all right, Flacco's going to play, right? If you want to see Shedeur Sanders play, do you rather him go second or third? And what I mean by that is, if Flacco goes 4 games, 5 games, do you want to be up in that 6-game range, or do you want to be the last guy standing? Now, there's a dangerous game you play, because say, for instance, if you go third, that second guy lights it up, you might not get a shot.
You're right. You might not.
Or if you are the last guy, you might get a little more lack and more room because you're the last guy to go. They had already exhausted the other 2 options, so you don't have the expectations. You don't have, and they might let you do a little something.
And at that
more.
point, you're like, all right,
whatever.
Playing with house money. So what do you got?
Now you out here doing trick plays. You might get lightning in a bottle. You had a bad season. Now you got to. It's funny to me how this is going to play out because, listen, you can get in that second tier. And you're like, okay, I'm first up, but is that the place you want to really want to be
especially
at?
when you look at the schedule, G.
Right.
The first 6 is a gauntlet.
You're going to be playing against great. The first 5 is one of the hardest schedules I've seen, and I don't like playing the schedule game. But
They're tough.
Why would you give us the Bengals and Ravens back to back, and then Packers, Lions, Vikings, and then you still like a lot of people add.
Those are, correct me if I'm wrong. Which
all
of those
playoffs
teams didn't make the playoffs?
None of them. All of
Bengals
them.
That's what I thought.
The Bengals didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bengals missed barely.
Yeah.
They were coming on. If they had another week in the regular season, they would have made it.
30 more seconds in the season they're in.
But
They have consistently played poorly early in the
At the
season.
beginning of the
Exactly.
season,
Yeah.
they dig themselves holes.
But
Yeah.
Can you
Every
imagine
year.
if the Browns open with a win over the Bengals?
that's wild.
Oh,
Are you
yes.
guys ready for the
I can.
second prop?
Yes.
We got 3 of these. The next prop, the odds plus 300 for Shedeur to throw for 2,000 or more yards on the season. Plus 300.
So let's guess how many games he's
got-
got.
That's it. That's what I was just going to
That's
say.
it.
The question is, how much do we think he'll play? If he plays half the season, yes, he's got it.
Yeah.
I would hope.
If you got 10 games, that's another thing.
I don't know that he's
225.
got it. I mean, if he plays 8 games, he has to average 250 yards a game.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're
for
right.
a rookie, that's a lot.
Yeah.
we just said 261.3 is the
That's
new
tough.
300. So 250s.
Here's the thing. Going back to that last
That's a
bet,
rookie, Mike.
If,
I mean, we're not
if
talking
he
about-
has one game where he throws over 300 yards,
Yeah.
we've got something.
Yeah.
We've got something.
I think I would not bet on that.
I wouldn't either. It's too high.
First of all, he'd have to play at least 7 games minimum.
And I
Hell
think
yeah.
And probably would have played 9 or 10. Remember, and the Browns, it's not like they have prolific weapons in the passing game.
and
They do not.
And you got to understand, you know them. You go back and watch the DTR playbook. That playbook is run,
Yeah.
short pass.
There you go.
Run, short pass, punt.
They're not going to throw him. When and if he gets his opportunity, they're not going to just throw him out there and say, chuck it all around the field.
Oh, no. There will be, yeah.
And, Bull, you mentioned 8 games as the barometer. Dak played 8 games last year, threw for 1,978 yards.
Yeah.
They're doing better than Dak, statistically
I
speaking.
ain't taking that. And
With fewer weapons.
and this is projecting at 8 games. And if you project at 8 games, that means, say Flacco plays 5 games, right? And depending on who gets to go first, Dylan or Shedeur Sanders, they'd have to have another 4. How many games you think Dylan would play if they gave him the opportunity? I don't think they would put him out there and just say, "Oh, you get 2 games." He's going to get a
Right. What do you think? What do you think the percentage chance is that he plays 8 games this year? Not what you want to happen. What you think is going to happen.
I would say it's probably below 50%.
I agree. I'd say there's maybe a 25% chance.
He'd have to.
I still think it's going to be Joe Flacco. I'm the only guy that thinks that.
No.
No.
I think it's gonna be
I know.
Okay, 'cause
I know.
Jay says, "Oh no,
Yeah.
No.
Flacco's not. It's going to be Kenny Pickett."
Joe Flacco is definitely the odds-on favorite to start.
See, I would think so, but man, I just keep hearing these guys that cover the team every day telling me no, it's Kenny Pickett.
They keep telling me Pickett, and I was laughing and joking. I said, listen, out of all of these comments, bro, I'll be watching all these throws. Where are the Pickett highlights? Where is these touchdowns?
What I
at?
don't understand about starting Kenny Pickett is if you want your best chance to win, it's most likely Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
If it's all about not winning in development, then start one of the rookies.
Right.
I don't get the Pickett thing.
I don't either.
I've
don't
been
either.
trying.
Now he's only 3 years removed from the draft, 4 years removed from the
Right.
draft. So I mean,
I guess they could.
They might say he's still in that. And here's the other thing. I talked about this one day last week. If you look at his early developmental years, he was with Canada as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And everybody in Pittsburgh is pretty much, those that weren't on board immediately jumped on that bandwagon like, okay, this guy's the worst offensive coordinator Pittsburgh's ever had. So maybe he stunted his development. And if our guy Stefanski is the quarterback whisperer and he can get something out of this guy, then the thinking is, we think the tools are there. We just think that the guidance has been poor. And in Philly, it's a wasted year. You're watching. You know, how much are they working on developing Kenny Pickett? Not at all. No. So let's see what happens when they go in the lab. Can Stefanski come out with a polished Kenny Pickett that make all of us go,
Now,
wow, it's kind of like Sam Darnold. He's good all of a sudden.
I will say this, though. These preseason games count more. See,
I can't wait for
you could do a lot of smoke and mirrors right now. You can play with the reps. Guys ain't going to play. You're going to play open to public, not open to public. But at one point in time, they're going to roll on the camera and the TV's going to come on and the Browns are going to have a preseason game. And I'm telling you this right now. I don't care if he comes out, if Shedeur Sanders come out here and throw 2 touchdown passes and people look like they're excited, it's going to be very, very difficult, no matter what nobody says, to say,
No, I agree with that.
I mean, it's going to be tough. We could, and
I've seen a lot. We've seen a
what
lot
if
of
Dylan
bad
Gabriel
quarterbacks
comes
play
out?
well in
What
the
if Dylan
preseason.
Gabriel comes out
It-
and
that's
has
an-
3 series and leads 2 touchdowns? Same thing.
Same thing. You're going to be like,
Okay.
who is this? And then at that point, everybody's gonna be like, well, I don't really care about these old dudes. Like,
Right. We got two.
Can we see what's up with
young guys that can sling it around?
Can we see what's up with them? Like, that's what we want to see. Like, and that's the thing about the great thing about football is, even preseason games. Trust me, everybody. This year is going to be very interesting.
It matters.
It's going to
It
really
matters more than ever before. And this is coming off 3 years where the regime has said, we don't even.
Yep.
Wait, they played preseason games? We didn't even know they played them. You know
I
what's
wanna
going to be
make
funny,
this-
too?
Oh, no, finish that.
When
Go,
Flacco
go.
throws that first pick, 80% of Cleveland's going to be like, that's who he is. Let's get him out of here.
Now, that's the funny.
How much is he even going to play in the preseason?
I don't think he's going
None.
to play that much.
None.
At all.
None. Why would you? You know what you have with him.
And Kenny Pickett, that's why if you start Kenny Pickett, like how much of a leash do you have? Like he has no leash at all. Like they'll call for anybody.
Because he's got a body of work, and we know what it is, and it's just kind of mid.
I just want everyone out there watching to know that if we saw preseason prop bet odds for Gabriel or any other Browns rookies, we'll also do those topics.
They don't, do they? Well, I guess they will.
And maybe, but because Shedeur is such a big name, we
Yeah.
have gotten them. So don't think we're doing
I
this
see what
because
you're saying.
Who cares what people? Don't worry about it.
I know I'm going to get a million
Who
texts
cares?
saying where's the Dylan
who's
stuff.
the
I'm just
third-
letting
is there
people
a third
know.
one?
I'm just letting them know. As soon as
right.
they come out, we'll do those too. We got the last one though. Our final Shedeur Sanders.
Usually
prop
the
bet.
people that complain about people having agendas are the people who have agendas. Remember that. Go ahead.
Plus 2,000 odds, Bull. Shedeur to win Rookie of the Year. Goes back to how much will he play versus will he not play, but could you be enticed into
I mean, it's a long shot, obviously, at
Juicy
plus
odds.
2,000, but I would, I could be enticed to bet, a nice 5 spot on that. Why not?
I actually agree. It's my favorite of all of them.
That's the only
Yeah.
one I would consider betting.
I would too.
Here's why that's a very good bet. Because of the way we work in America, everybody loves a great redemption story. Oh, they love it, don't
Yep.
they? They love a good comeback.
The only thing they love more than tearing you down is building you back up.
Build back up. And right there, safe and I don't want say Flacco for whatever reason goes out of the game first couple of games. Mm-hmm. There's no expectations.
No.
None at all.
None.
All of a sudden he comes in the game and he plays well against one of these teams and they accidentally win.
Right.
Now you're on the map. Now you're the odds-on favorite. Now, like, people are watching you every single day, and they're like, "Oh, well, this is a story. If he's even close to the next guy, they're gonna give it to him." We saw it with Flacco when he was comeback player of the year. Remember?
Right, yeah.
And DeMar Hamlin literally died, and he was up for comeback player of the year, and Flacco still won.
Mike, who's the favorite? Is it Cam Ward or is it Travis Hunter?
It's the crazy Shedeur phenomenon. They haven't put out the full odds yet. They just dropped and released some Shedeur odds.
That's wild.
That is so nuts.
That's wild.
You sure?
Like, where's
I'll double
They
check.
know who people are going to bet on, though.
Hey,
I mean,
by
the
the way,
whole idea here is to get people to bet.
Cleveland lit. Listen. I will say this: go watch all these other shows, man. You watch any big name show. If he plays remotely well, he's Colin Cowherd, ESPN. They ready to go.
Bro, I did find more. Sorry, I have found
Go ahead.
more. Ashton Genty's the favorite at plus 270.
Oh, actually.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Cam Ward's plus 300. Travis Hunter plus 900. Your 3 favorites.
Oh, so Genty and Ward are pretty close.
Plus 270, plus 300.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
will
that's
we?
negligible?
What do you? Will we? I think it's weird because I think more of us would be sitting here comparing Mason Graham to Travis Hunter, but since we got Shedeur Sanders, it kind of just took all our attention away from not having Travis Hunter. Do you think that
Well, you could have had both.
you could, which is wild and makes me, I don't want to say nothing, but go ahead. Do you think people will look at Travis Hunter and be like, what the heck were we doing? You think or do you think we won't necessarily care about it if we
I'm
get a
going to care
quarterback?
about it.
I'll
know
care
that.
too,
I mean,
yeah.
if Mason Graham ends up being a great player, then I guess it's not that big a deal. But
Yeah, you
if
only-
Mason Graham's just a guy,
Yeah.
and he's a great player, you're going to regret it.
You better believe it.
Unless this is a big if, they end up getting their franchise quarterback with the first-round pick they got in that trade.
Yeah,
then
that's
you could
true.
forgive
So
it.
there is another
Yeah.
element to
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Normally, you miss the guy that you passed on when the guy you took stinks.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
If he's a good player, if Mason Graham comes in here and starts and is a contributor, we're like, okay, we missed on this good player, but we've got one of our own, so no harm, no foul.
Apparently, in the off-season activities, Hunter was almost exclusively playing offense.
Ooh, that's
And that's not because he's not going to play defense. It's just because they felt like he was more natural as a defensive player, so they really wanted to work with him more on the offensive side. He just signed, I believe, the biggest guaranteed contract for a non-quarterback rookie since they've gone to this
slotted
new pay
system.
scale. Yeah.
Really?
Speaking of that, Bull, the Bengals' #1 pick.
What's going on with that? Let me talk
How
to
do you
me
not
about
sign
that.
your #1 draft pick when it's
know.
slotted?
What?
It's so there's
I know there's language that he doesn't
that's
like
the
in there, but
holdup.
why are the Bengals putting that in there for him when they didn't for other guys?
I don't, who knows what the hell they do.
It really is. When I read that article, I'm like, I am missing
They need to
something.
sign him and Hendrickson and stop effing around. I don't know what they're doing.
It's because I'm looking at it, I'm like, if all the other contracts had the same language, take it. Just take the easy money and get a
No, I think the Bengals put language in there that not every team does.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
There's the only contract
they're stupid. Sorry.